You are listening to the Mountainside Podcast, and joining us in studio is my friend Katie Knight. She's a high-endurance athlete competing at the highest levels in Hyrox, Spartan Ultras, Ultra Tough Mudders, tactical games, CrossFit competitions. It was great to finally have her in here on the podcast. Great episode. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You've been a bucket list of mine for a long time. We've known each other for a couple of years.
Yep.
We're finally setting it up.
Yep, I love it.
Badass. Yeah. So what's been going on? I know you are constantly kicking ass someplace. So
I try.
where have you been kicking ass?
I mean, everywhere. I don't know. Always just doing a lot of training, kind of changing my scope more into tactical games, and then getting more into like the hunting scene. So that's been fun.
Oh, nice.
Other than that, it's still, same old ultras and hybrid events and any kind of competition I can get myself into.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw you on Cam's podcast, right? Shout out Cam Haynes. He's fucking crushing it.
Yeah,
I love his content.
He was so much fun to hang out with. That whole experience is incredible.
He's super rad, dude. I mean, he's really probably the main reason why we had an audience right at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay.
He reshared it early on.
Oh, nice.
And has been nothing but supportive. Like, I've never met him in person, but we go back and forth on some DMs here or there, and he's just been like super supportive, super rad. Great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Love to see him crushing it. Retired.
Yeah.
Retired Cam Haynes.
Kind of. I mean, I think he's still running marathons and doing crazy things. So.
No, but he used to work like a full-time job and do all that. Like, so.
Which is pretty nuts.
It's crazy.
It's a lot of work. I've had tons of jobs and careers in my life, but my latest one, I was working full-time as a trainer and coach at Google. And then.
Really?
Yeah. So they have a really cool office. It's brand new in Boulder. So that was really convenient. And then
you just go in there and beat the crap out of corporate people?
Pretty much, yeah. I got to train a lot of nerds, as I like to say it.
Have you pull that just a tiny bit closer.
I'll pull this closer.
Yeah,
cool.
You're good.
Good.
No, that's awesome. So what does that entail? Is it like you got to go jack them out of their cubicle, or they just show up?
No, they come down to the gym, world-class gym, brand new equipment, all that kind of stuff, which was really cool to work in. And there's classes, so I would teach kind of like a CrossFit type class, and then personal train as well. But yeah, so I was doing that. I was working for sponsors. I was training and racing full time, and I still have my own online training company. And so it was like 4 jobs, and I was like, all right, one has to go so I can focus more on the others. So Google went. Yeah.
Their facilities are amazing. I've been to the one in San Francisco and done some like private stuff for them over the years, and the amount of money and what they have and kind of their philosophy, right? Like, I think if you're an employee there, you kind of just have to get done what they tell you to get done, and then the rest of it's like free time, right?
Yeah, and they have a ton of amenities, and so like I was fed very well, which was really good for training. So I'd go for like really long mountain run, and then go into work and get like a gourmet breakfast, lunch. So I do miss that. That was a good perk to have.
Yeah. Especially now, food is like so expensive. If you're like trying to eat like a carnivore diet or a paleo type diet or anything that's high in protein, you're paying through the nose.
Meat's expensive right now. Yeah,
it's really expensive. Yeah. So tell me about so you're getting into hunting. Are you going to archery hunt? Because I know you recently got a bow, right?
Yep. So I got a bow when I was on Cam Haynes' podcast.
He had you shooting 100 yards too or something?
Yeah. Like I hit the 111 yard mark, which was the female record at that time. I don't know if anybody's broken it, but it was so much fun. So yeah, and then I'm a member at Game Lines Archery. That's up in the foothills of Boulder, and it's a 3D range, and it's so fun. So I've been shooting that a lot, and then plan to do some hunts this year, turkey pretty soon, and then applying for a specialty tag for white-tailed deer back in Iowa. Since I have a Colorado license, it's really hard to get those tags. So you have to like kind of apply, and they're like, there's like specialty ones for out of state. Otherwise, they're really expensive, or they take like 5+ years to get. So yeah, that's the plan, and then maybe elk. We'll see. See what I draw for a tag. So
did you put in this year?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
For mostly what like my buddies put in for. So I couldn't tell you the logistics,
no,
but
don't give up the unit either, man. Those are all secrets you have to keep, and you'll learn as a hunter.
Oh yeah.
People ask all the time. They're like, "So where do you go?" And like people that are just getting into it, and I'm pretty gracious about it. You know, I'll tell them some over-the-counter units and stuff.
Right,
but
right.
I don't
But yeah,
give up
otherwise
the honey
it's hush.
holes, right? Yeah.
It's the same way with, I've also been doing like a lot of fishing lately. And so there's some ponds in Boulder that like you don't want to give away what have like really big bass in it and things like that. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. People are like hush hush about that because they're like secret spots.
Yeah, there's not many bass in Colorado, I would think.
Nope, not a lot.
Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, that's
so
been
are you
fun.
doing it just like on a spinning rod, or are you fly fishing?
No, I have fly fished before. Haven't done that in probably like 2 years, but yeah, just bass fishing on a spin rod. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I've went like once or twice. I think it was when I was in Texas one time. We went on Lake Travis. We didn't catch much. But do you fish for trout at all, or?
Yeah, so some of the lakes have just like they're stocked with like everything. Like Coot Lake up by Boulder Reservoir, you know where that is? So they have like tons of fish stocked in there, from bass to pike to trout. So
that's cool. What's the biggest bass you can catch in Colorado? I mean, it's not like Oklahoma or something, right?
No, I think there's like 5 to 8 pounds, I want to say.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, but like rare. So
okay.
I caught a decent sized one a couple weeks ago, which was really fun.
So what's the key to catching bass then?
I don't know. I'm still learning. So
that's like some of the hardest fishing. I mean, that's why they make like full on fishing shows. I mean, some of those guys that have, I don't even know if that's still a thing. It's got to be, right? There used to be
fishing
guys
tournaments?
that were like full on, fishing tournaments.
They're pro bass fishermen. So my boyfriend
$60,000 boats and shit.
He in college was a pro bass fisherman, and they'd rake in so much money for tournaments. It's crazy, like $50,000 plus. So there's a lot of money in fishing.
What a badass job.
Yeah, I just do it for fun. It's kind of like a relaxing thing to do after training all day and work. Is like in the evenings we'll go fish. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get enough time on the river. I like going river or like high alpine lakes and catching wild trout.
Yeah, it's cool. Have you ever fished this Evergreen Lake?
Yeah, I stay away from it. So I fish the headwaters of it.
Okay.
Which is like you have to hike into, it's about a 7.5 mile hike, and it's probably, I want to say maybe 3,000 feet of elevation from where the parking's at.
Nice.
And so it's a hike.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And especially if you're going for a pack, you want to go for like an overnight up there. But it's awesome because you're not catching huge fish, but like the fish that you do catch are wild. So like pretty much everything above the lake isn't like stocked, right? Like they don't stock those high alpine lakes. Sometimes they drop them in on horseback and like, but a lot of times they're still like a native trout, and they don't have that much like interference. So you'll catch a little brookie that might be 8 inches, and it feels like you have a marlin on the end of your fly rod if it's a light enough weight, fly rod or something.
That's
so it's
awesome.
So much fun.
That's a good fight to reel that in.
Yeah. Not quite a marlin, but it's exciting, like they fully like come out of the water. They're super aggressive, beautiful, taste good. So yeah.
Nice. I'll have to do that. I mean, anything with like hiking, like I got into backcountry snowboarding this last winter, and I like the hike up. I don't really care about like the down, which everybody loves. Like that's why they hike up so they get like fresh powder down. I'm like, nah, like the hike up is what I like a lot of. So
yeah. No, I think just being out there, no matter what you're doing, is fucking awesome. But yeah, that's my thing. I don't like being around people. I feel just like you go to the lake down here, you have to be careful. Like if you take a run around the lake,
really,
like, I mean, there's so many people fishing. Some people are kind of novice or amateur at it, so you got to watch for the old backcast. And
have you skated on that lake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up here. So that was like the only thing to do when I was a kid.
Nice.
It was like back before we had Nintendo and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of grew up with not a lot of money, a single mom. So it was like, just go out inside and play, right? And like, I didn't have a whole lot of toys. So I was playing with sticks, building forts.
Nice.
Walking down the lake, sneaking on. I think the people at the lake knew that we didn't have money because it was a much smaller community back then.
Okay.
So they were just kind of like,
let them do whatever.
Let them go. Yeah. And just playing hockey with no gear, right? Like, so there was kids with missing teeth, and I came home with some black eyes. Luckily, I still have my pearly whites and they're original. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I grew up playing hockey, and I've played.
Oh, really?
I played pickup on this lake just like a couple times whenever I'm up here.
But do you still play? Or?
I don't play in any leagues. Some friends try to get me to play a beer league in Boulder, and I just haven't done that yet. But I still have all my like equipment. I have my hockey bag, so I should.
That's badass. So did you play? Okay, so we need to dive into your background a little bit. Are you from Colorado? Or?
No, born and raised in Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Midwestern girl.
Midwestern, one of 6 kids.
That makes sense on the strength then, right? It's like that farm strength. Did you
Yeah.
grow up like in Des Moines or
Yeah, in Des Moines.
Okay.
So not really on a farm. My dad has a farm now, but yeah, so not working on the farm every day, but there's definitely resilience that comes from people from the Midwest. They're just tough people. When you have to go through those kind of winters and just, I don't know, in general, any person I've met from the Midwest are pretty tough.
Yeah, they're some of the most fearsome people I've had to face on the mat. I'm always like, oh God, he's from Iowa? Shit.
Yeah,
I don't want to roll against you at jiu-jitsu, so.
A lot of big wrestlers come
Did
from
you
Iowa,
wrestle
too.
at all, or what high school sports did you play?
So I was a 4-sport varsity athlete, ice hockey,
Well, that makes sense.
softball, swimming and diving, and track and field. And then I actually, an ex I dated for quite a while, he was a big wrestler. He went on to be a collegiate wrestler. And so like I would do some camps where there was like female wrestlers as well, because his dad ran a big wrestling camp. And so I've definitely done it a little bit, but not to any kind of expert level at all.
It's crazy how many girls are wrestling now.
Yeah, it's cool. I like to see it.
Badass. Yeah. Shout out to Evergreen Wrestling right up here.
Oh, really? Do they have some girls on the team?
Jeremy's son wrestles on the team.
Oh, cool.
And then my buddy Luke is the coach over there.
Big girls presence. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, there's probably both of Luke's daughters wrestle, but I think one of them's only in high school right now. But I think they had just as many girls as they had guys, didn't they?
It's a little bit less, but
Is it? I mean, a huge
It was
turnout.
enough. It was enough that you were like, this town's small. How the hell are there
Some
this many
badass girls walking around here.
Do
yeah.
they wrestle the boys, or do they have their
Yeah.
own? Okay, because I know some high schools have like tried to transition to like just girls, but
Okay.
that's
All,
cool.
no, they were just wrestling girls.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
Okay,
Huh.
I mean, I don't know what they do. Like
They used to. It was just like full on, and
No,
there was not a whole lot of mercy in it either.
oh no,
man.
I mean, so I played with all boys. I played on some girl travel hockey teams, but
Oh,
like,
so you were playing against boys?
oh yeah,
at
there
hockey?
was. There's probably out of the surrounding high schools like 3 or 4 of us.
Is hockey big in Iowa? Or?
I mean, it's decent. You have Minnesota, and it's obviously bigger
Right.
there. But so we travel up there sometimes. But I mean, it's decently popular. It was tough because there was no mercy
Yeah.
at all.
So what position did you play?
Defense.
Okay.
Yep. Lefty always from when I was like 6 to into college.
That's badass. Mm-hmm. Did you get in any fights at all?
Oh yeah,
Yeah? Your enforcer style or what?
That was actually my dad was the coach, and my nickname growing up in hockey was the enforcer. I was in the penalty box.
Let's go.
That's
So
hilarious.
much. I've been kicked out of games. A super funny story is I got kicked out of a game for fighting, and then my dad got kicked out for, I don't know, fighting with the ref or something. So we both got kicked out. But like it's an aggressive sport. And some boys will either like leave you alone because you're a girl, so they don't want to even mess with you, or
Yeah.
they're just like even more angry because you're a girl, and then they'll fight you.
Yeah, I mean, even out here on the lake, there was a few times that the blood was running, just from, especially because we didn't have any helmets or anything, it was just like full on like flannels and kids fighting on the ice, And then it turned into like a little bit of a cliquish. We had almost like little hockey gangs,
That's
a
cool.
little bit like the South Evergreen kids versus the North Evergreen kids, and
Sounds
it was
like a
kinda
fun
funny.
childhood.
It was awesome. Have you ever seen the documentary Ice Guardians?
Oh no, I don't think
It's
so.
on Prime. You
Okay,
got to go home
okay.
and tee this up. You'll fucking love it. And Scott Parker, are you familiar with him?
I don't think so.
He's Stanley Cup champ from the Avalanche.
Oh, okay.
We've had him on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
But he's in that documentary, and it's all just about hockey and fighting in the NHL, and just kind of like what the enforcer role was.
Huh.
It's badass.
That's really fun.
Yeah,
I'll definitely go watch it.
So we have a big hockey influence here, even though I never played at any sort of level other than the pond.
I mean, so pond hockey is like I think the toughest hockey. So I grew up playing pond hockey as well.
Okay.
And
Yeah, there's all
that's a
kinds of
whole
bumps
different
and-
league. Oh yeah. There's no rules.
I actually got invited this weekend there to go like shoot some pucks at a hockey ring or something. I was like, you do not want, and these are all like former NHL players, and I'm like, dude, I'm like Happy Gilmore out there. Like, there's no way. I guarantee I can shoot the puck, but I can't stay on my skates. I couldn't as a kid, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it still sounds fun.
Yeah. my tailbone would probably not appreciate it. But yeah, that's super badass. So what was, did you ever get cut up or anything? Or like, were you guys playing with face masks?
Yeah, we had
then?
face masks, so like in full gear. So I don't think I ever had like a broken nose or missing teeth or anything like that. You kind of swing with your helmet on and your gloves. So it's nothing too crazy.
Right. No, that's awesome. So sports has always been in your life. Were your parents active in that? And
yeah, they were always, my mom and my dad were always my coaches for most sports that I played. My mom ran a fitness company from back in the 80s, and she still is a personal trainer. She still does CrossFit. She actually got all of my siblings and myself into CrossFit in 2015. She still does it. She's 63 now. So
really?
she's a badass. Yeah.
Shout out moms.
Yeah.
Is she on Instagram or something?
She is on Instagram.
Yeah?
I did
look her up, Jeremy. Let's see this.
I posted her the other day on my page. You can see she's deadlifting 250. If you scroll down.
There's you and Cam too. That's awesome.
Look
at that bass.
Yeah.
Is that here in Colorado?
It is. There's one on there. If you go a couple pictures in, that's the bigger one that I caught.
Nice.
Keep going. There it is. That was a big one.
That is a big fish. Mm-hmm. Super cool.
Yeah, but yeah, if you scroll down just a little bit, that one, the deadlift one. Yeah.
So this is you deadlifting with your mom?
This is me deadlifting, and then she just hit the other week 250-pound deadlift PR. So,
that is badass.
Yeah.
That is so fucking cool.
So
65?
63.
63.
63. She's got 6 kids, 14 grandkids.
Wow.
Yeah, she still crushes it. It's fun. She's always been my inspiration.
That's what's up, man. That's super cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is kind of making sense now. Like, this is cool because even though you and I have hung out, it's been in like a concert setting there's been other people around. So I didn't really know this about you, and you've just been fucking crushing it lately. Like,
well, thank you.
Yeah. At a level that I don't think most people understand. Like, I mean, the ultra mutters, the ultra, is it ultra Spartan race?
Yeah, so Spartan used to have the Ultra World Championships with a 24-hour Spartan race, and then World's Toughest Mudder is the 24-hour obstacle course race. So I've done both of those, ran quite a few ultra marathons, and then strength competitions as well, anywhere from CrossFit comps to High Rocks to whatever else is out there. So it's been really fun. It's hard to balance the strength and endurance. So there's times of the year where I'm more focused on running, and then times of the year where I'm more focused on building strength.
So in a 24-hour race, what does that entail? Because we've had quite a few ultra runners in, or a few ultra runners in,
like trail.
Yeah. And they seem to be like very like slender, just not. I mean, super fit, but just not like you're jacked.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to kind of keep that muscle mass and run. So, yeah, I would say the type of body that usually runs ultra marathons are more slender. It's a lot easier to carry less weight running that far than more weight and more muscle. So for me, when it comes to like ultra marathons and 24-hour races, it takes a lot more fuel. And it's hard to get that much in because I have more muscle, my metabolic rate is a lot higher than I would say someone with less muscle or who's more slender. And so that's always a trick. But for the 24-hour ones, it's always loops. So Spartan, it would be anywhere from like 6 to 7 mile loops. And then you come back into like your pit. So kind of think of it like NASCAR. So you go into your pit, your team helps you refuel, get more water, whatever you need, and then you go back out. There's usually around like 20 obstacles per lap too, so that's a lot different than just, your trail ultra marathon.
So that's where the muscle mass comes in. And
yeah,
play,
it definitely helps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, basically muscling up onto ledges, climbing over things, crawling under things, carrying things. I do wish that they made like the bucket carries and the strength component more, so like it was harder. Because a lot of the obstacles when it comes to carrying things are pretty light, so it's easy. But I think they could definitely then more people would, have to strength train. So
right.
even the playing field a little bit.
So in those sort of races, are you starting, like, what time of day are you starting?
World's Toughest Mudder always starts around 11 a.m. and then it goes until 11 the next day, and then you have an hour to like finish that last lap. So it usually ends around like noon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many miles are you putting in during that? And it with obstacles, right?
Yeah, so. It depends on the year. So some of the obstacles can be harder. The penalties and the penalty loops are always different. And so if like they're long penalty loops, they're going to take, you more time. But the furthest I've gone is 90 miles when I won World's Toughest Mudder in 2021.
I'm not there's no way I could hang.
I don't like driving 90 miles.
I mean, you'd be surprised. A lot of people go out there and they just like walk the whole thing and they'll still get 50. So it's impressive. The whole community is really cool. You have, people of all types out there running together, so it's really cool.
And is there a women's and a men's class, or is it?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's elite women's and men's, and then there's like age group as well. And then for Spartan, usually they did it was on some kind of mountain course. World's Toughest is always usually pretty flat. And then when I did the Spartan 24-hour race, I was up in Telluride. So we were we were starting around 9,000 feet, climbing to like 11 and a half. And they were 6.7 mile loops. So that one, I think I got like 70 miles. And that was brutal. That was really hard.
So on that 24-hour clock, you're trying to see how many miles you can clock?
Yep.
And then is it a timed?
Yeah, so it's basically like whoever can get the most miles the fastest. So like even if you both finish with 90 miles, if you finished first, obviously you did it faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So how many of those have you done in the most recently?
How many of those races?
Yeah.
So since I started this whole journey in 2021 is when I started.
Because I think when you and I hung out last, I think it was almost 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't know that.
So I've done World's Toughest Mudder 3 times and the Spartan one once because they don't do the 24-hour race anymore. But so yeah, like 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
And what was kind of the goal, or what pushed you into this? Were you doing regular Spartan races prior to this and stuff, and just it wasn't enough, or?
So I dove into the ultra marathon world in around 2019. And then the first Spartan race I did, it was a stadium race. So it was really fast. It was like a 5K. So I did that. And then I jumped into a Spartan Ultra and I won that. So then that qualified me for the Spartan Ultra World Championship. So I did that. And then a month later I did World's Toughest. So it's kind of just
that close together.
Mm-hmm.
How wrecked is your body coming out of that? What's the recovery like?
It's pretty hard because it's a lot obviously on your body and your adrenal system and mentally more than anything. So I don't think I even had time to think about it. And then I just went and did the next one. But that's kind of usually how I do things. Like the first ultra I did, it was the rim to rim to rim, which is 50 miles. And
Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just kind of did that on a whim with 20 buddies from my old CrossFit gym. And then a month later, I did the Bryce Canyon 50-mile ultra. So it's kind of just escalated from there. And I was like, why not 24 hours? So
right.
Yeah.
Is there anything tougher that you have your eyes set on at the moment?
Yeah, I would love to do. You've heard of Leadville 100. Yeah. So Leadman is the 100-mile bike race. And then the next weekend's the 100-mile run.
It's a mountain bike race, right?
So that's something I really want to do. I also want to do quite a few extreme triathlons. So it's mountain bike, trail run, and then an open water swim. So those are really kind of what I have my eye on. I'm just kind of trying to find the hardest things out there. I've done, have you ever heard of swim run?
No.
So that's a crazy event. Swim run is so many miles running and then open water swimming. So I went 2 years ago in the fall. I did their swim run world championships, and that's over in Sweden. It's off the coast, and so you're swimming and running between 40 islands. So it's a total of 40 miles, and then 6 miles of open water swimming, and you're tethered together with a partner. So from me to you, there's a rope, and you have to stay tethered.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever
hopefully
swam more.
you get to pick your partner, right?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to do it with an ex, and that didn't work out. And so I went and I told the race director, I was like, hey, I still really want to do this. I've kind of been training up for it. And so he's like, we have the perfect person. And he's done this. He's a coach for swim run. He's done it, 6 or 7 times, which is crazy. So he was the perfect person to kind of lead me through this race. But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. That much open water swimming was crazy.
What are the safety factors that are put into place? Because if you're pushing your body at that level, right, there's got to be some sort of...
I'm sure there's specifics on their website of what,
right.
I don't actually know, but
just don't drown.
I know there's boats in the water.
Keep swimming.
That was that's what he's a French man, and he so I could barely understand him either. And he basically told me, put your head down and look at the rope and swim. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And then don't drown.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Is there any video of people doing this, or do you have any of yours?
They did. I think they did a documentary on the year I did it, and it's really cool, and it kind of just shows the race, and there's male female partners, male and female, and these people are incredible swimmers. So I was told I'm a strong swimmer, not a fast swimmer, but I'll take that because I didn't drown.
Hell yeah! What's it called again?
Swim Run World Championships.
I got to see this. This is something I don't know about. Is it always overseas, or do they have them in the U.S. too?
They kind of transition more to the U.S., so there are some races in the U.S. and most are overseas. Not all of them are as long as I did. A lot of them are shorter, and then you qualify for the championships. So let's see, 20... I'm at the start of one of them. I can't remember, 2021.
From a financial standpoint, are you doing a lot of this on your own dime, or?
Yeah, I do have sponsors that kind of help me get to certain races that are either, very popular, well-known. But otherwise, yeah, it's usually on my own dime as well.
And then is there serious prize money that's involved or anything like that? Is there a chance to...
Sometimes. So for some races, so World's Toughest, there's always prize money. Some of the bigger races, there are...
oh my gosh. Running with a mask.
I think it's this one, the 2022.
Oh, they made him do it with masks during COVID?
Right? Ooh, yikes. Yeah, I'm
you might have to turn it
one.
down a little bit, Jeremy. It's cranking.
Like this, I think. Your body can keep going, but it's the mind that usually breaks. And so if you can keep that strong, keep that willpower, you can keep going.
This being the mother of all swim runs, it really kind of sets the tone of what other swim runs should achieve to be. That they don't dictate the distances onto nature. Nature dictates the distances of the course.
För att klara det här så behöver man nog göra sin hemläxa.
You know how beautiful that is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so this is through the mountains then, yeah? Or is it...
Islands.
Islands.
Through islands. And they're not marked either. Because I asked him, I was like, where's the course? He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, does anyone groom the courses? And he's like,
so
no.
navigation's part of it.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
You're running through the woods and then you get to the water, and if you were doing a trail run, you'd stop, it'd be over. But it's not. You get to keep going. Yeah, you just keep going.
All right, Jeremy, you might have to kill the volume because I think we'll get YouTube copyright stuff. We've been getting nailed lately.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
It means we're growing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. Wow. So what's the point of doing this with a partner? Is it just, it's how they've set up the race?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
I mean, and I think it's a lot tougher because, like I said, you have to stay tethered together or within a certain distance of each other. And so when you're swimming, that's, difficult.
So what's your recovery key to do you have certain things? I'm a big fan of element salts and some of those sort of like
during a race?
During a race, to get electrolytes, and they have those goo packets. They got all kinds of different stuff, right, set up for that. But
so throughout the years, definitely tried different ones. It's kind of whatever works for your body when you're pushing that hard for so long. This last race I did was 8-hour Tough Mudder in Saudi Arabia. And that was
really?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was in February, the end of February, right before my birthday. Yeah. And so that was the first race I'd actually had like a race plan, like this many calories an hour, this much sodium an hour. And it definitely helped. I won't lie. But yeah, it's sodium from, usually I use like Extend or something that has BCAAs in it as well. And then GUs are usually what I stick to until like if in a 24-hour race by like hour 12, I'm eating like Uncrustables and pizza and things like that. But usually like, Spring Energy, any kind of gel or goo can do a lot if you can just like get those down really quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me too, Jeremy, in the bottom shelf of the fridge, Element sent us some new products.
Oh, nice.
They're not a sponsor, but they've been hooking me up. They send us free shit. So that's cool. I don't know if you want to try it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they have it in the can now. I just saw that. Mm-hmm.
Have you had one of these
No, I
yet?
haven't had that.
What flavor do you want?
What you got?
They sent me a bunch of, there's like a variety pack, so I'll do a watermelon or something if they got it, Jeremy. I think there's black cherry. This one's citrus, so that's your margarita. I'm a tequila drinker.
Oh, well then
so
that's
like the other night I was doing a podcast and I was just pouring straight Element into the tequila. It's fucking good.
Oh, I'm sure
man.
it is.
Yeah.
I'm more of a vodka person, so.
Yeah. Here you go. You get your choice first.
What's that one?
That one looks like, this one's grapefruit, citrus.
Watermelon. Here, you try the watermelon. I'll try.
No,
I like grapefruit.
You can have, okay.
I like grapefruit.
All right, cool. Yeah, shout out to Element. Thanks for hooking it up. They just came today, actually.
Yeah, I feel like an hour ago I just saw they had cans.
Really? That's cool. We're in the know, I guess.
Nice.
Oh, it's carbonated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, carbonated stuff for a podcast is not good. It's hard
the
on
beer's
the
not
listeners
doing
here. Yeah. No, that's good though. No, I love their salt packets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the more like sodium you can take in, the better, just to prevent like any kind of cramping. And then at some point in the race, if it's a long one, I'll always like just start downing pickle juice.
Really? Mm-hmm. I hate pickles.
Oh, really?
Not a fan, yeah. I've never liked them. Like,
it does wonders.
I still don't like them to this day. Really.
You don't have to eat the pickles. You just have to drink the juice.
Yeah, that's even worse, right? Because it tastes like pickles.
I mean, there's like, I mean, whatever extent I can go to like stop cramping or feel good, I've gotten used to it.
If I was running 100 miles and there was nothing else to drink, I'm sure at some point I would be drinking pickle juice.
Uh-huh.
If you're not checking out the Mountainside Podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell. What do you have coming up race-wise?
Let's see. I have a couple of CrossFit comps. So after that big ultra in Saudi Arabia, I've kind of just
we didn't even get into that. So I got to hear about this too.
It was, first of all, I didn't realize how much travel it would take to get there.
Yeah, it's a long ways away.
So that was a lot. But I spent some time in Dubai as well, and I've been to Europe a ton, but never to any of these countries, and so it was pretty incredible. Did you go to
Abu Dhabi?
No, I didn't have a chance to go there. But just like the culture and everything, people were super welcoming. The whole race was run extremely well. Like the experience in general was really cool. And so I think it was one of like the most competitive Tough Mudder fields ever. Because the prize money was huge. I think first place was $80K. Yeah. So there's a lot of fast
probably some
runners.
sort of Prince or Sultan paying for that, right?
Yeah, something.
It's like, I want to watch it. It's crazy. So I've worked for rock bands, pretty much like straight out of high school. That's my background. And we would get paid to go do private shows over there at like a sheik's house or something like that. And it would just be, this one time we played a private show. We set up an entire stage, big name band, and there was one guy in the room.
No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's just a Prince like by himself. Like it's wild, the amount of money. But yeah, that's a brutal. That's a good 18-hour flight to get over.
Oh yeah,
over there, you know. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was really fun. I put in a pretty big training block. I was running like 70-mile weeks to gear up for that. And now it's
in the desert. It
was straight in the desert.
Wow.
So it was the landscape was cool. We got to spend like a day into town where they kind of like took us on a little tour, which was really cool. Yeah. So now it's just kind of building back up strength. Have a couple tactical games coming up. I'm going to do a TAC, the Total Archery Challenge, in June. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. So I want to dive into tactical games with you a little bit because that's something that intrigues me. Like, maybe I would compete in that. Probably not. Like, I'm in my I'm about to be 50. So
there's a lot. I mean, if you can shoot well, you should do it.
I can't. That's the problem. Well, not with a gun. I'm really good with a bow. I'd love to go shoot bows with you sometime.
Yeah.
I'm a private member at American Bowman, which is not far from here. Okay. And it's probably I've been to a lot of them. I haven't been to, would you say Highline?
Game Lines.
Game Lines.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Game Lines yet. But American Bowman, the way that they have it set up is like a Western hunt like type thing. There's a few spots where you kind of have to traverse across.
It's like
cliff.
a 3D range?
Yeah, it's all, and like shoot at rams and mountain goats and mountain lions and bison, moose.
Yeah, that's like Game Lines too.
Targets, man. It's so much fun. I enjoy that more than hunting, and I get shit for it all the time. But I go like twice a week. Like that's kind of my fitness into hunting season.
Well, yeah,
like
I mean, it's a lot of hiking, a lot of moving.
And shooting, right? So you can shoot all at the same time. And
yeah, so if you can shoot under fatigue, you just have to learn, how to shoot a gun and you'd be fine.
Yeah. I think the thing is I'm more accurate with my bow than I am with a handgun.
Handguns are hard.
Yeah.
This year they changed the rule so you can have a red dot on your handgun. Last year it was iron sights, and like I'm very much a newbie when it comes to handguns, and so that was very difficult.
Have you shot quite a bit, like leading up to this, or?
Yeah, so there's Colorado, not archery club, Colorado Rifle Club. It's about an hour from Boulder, so I'll go shoot there some. And then when I'm back home, so I'm going to go back home and do the Iowa Tactical Games in July. And then my dad has like a range set up on the farm, which is really cool.
That's super cool.
It's nice to have like kind of like a private range where you can kind of do whatever you want when it comes to fitness and then shooting. Because there's obviously a lot of rules for a reason at ranges. So definitely getting better than I was last year. Shooting rifles is way more fun for me than the handguns, but it's basically like you combine like CrossFit and functional fitness movements, that kind of stuff, with shooting. So it'll be like 3 rounds and you have to do, rope climbs or burpee box jump overs or sandbags. It's always a lot of like heavy carrying or odd object carrying, and then you'll go shoot like, 10 shots with your handgun, and then you go back and you do it again
at a high heart rate, right?
Yeah, that's what people don't like realize how hard that is. If your heart's at like 150, 60 or plus beats per minute, to try to like focus and shoot a target that's anywhere from like 10 to 500 yards away is very hard.
Do you just shoot what you're comfortable with, or do they have requirements for caliber?
Yeah, they have requirements for calibers, and they have a ton of rules. If you go to their website, there's like a whole, obviously, ways to keep everybody safe. But every event I've ever been to, it's run so well, so smoothly. It's like, I feel so safe. So it's really
awesome.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super intriguing to me. I saw, are you familiar with Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah.
She was part of like the Democratic Party, but I think that she's competing in it this year.
Yeah, I saw
in
that.
one of them or something. I thought that was super cool.
It is cool.
And she's a veteran and stuff, but.
Well, what's really cool is
this the archery range, Jeremy, you got pulled up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
There's some beautiful photos.
That's awesome. Well, we got to trade. If you're a member there, I'll come down and shoot with you.
Deal.
And then I'll take you to American Bowman.
Deal.
And we can go get some B-roll too or something. But it's so much fun. Like I haven't gone this week. I've been that busy, but I normally go like twice a week.
Okay.
And it's awesome. There's never anybody on the course. Like
that's great.
It's awesome.
Well, especially this time of year too. People are like, "Oh, I'll wait till it gets like nice and warm and there's no snow anymore."
Yeah, it's so if you do both sides, it's 40 targets. I think it's about 4 miles and maybe 1,000 feet of elevation.
Okay.
So it's a lot of up and down, and there's a 50-foot cliff shot in there. It's fun.
And what elevation is it sitting at? You guys are pretty high.
It's just outside of Shawnee, which is I guess Bailey would be the closest town.
Okay.
So it's not far from there. It's just a little ways like past Bailey on 285 if you're headed towards South Park or like Breckenridge. So it's probably
77.
8,500, 77.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
That's great.
Yeah,
That's about
no,
where we're at right
it's
here.
awesome. Yeah.
That's some good training.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the shit. And everybody that's a member up there is badass. They do they actually do this thing there that you would probably go and crush and maybe even win some money. So these guys are probably going to be pissed off that I'm telling you about it. But I'd love to see you go up there. I think it's God, what is the name of that? Why am I drawing a blank? It's Western Hunt
Oh yeah,
Fest.
I've heard of that.
Have you heard of that? So it's like a simulated. It involves shooting. So it's basically the tactical games for bow hunters,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
So you shoot a 3D course, then you also have to pack out an elk quarter, and like there's a whole. I don't know if there's like an actual skinning process or anything. Like if they make you do any knife work, I wouldn't think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, maybe calling's involved with it too, I guess.
I am trying
I don't
to
know.
learn
I've
that.
never been, but they do the, I think they do the national championships at American Bowman where I go and shoot.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. I think a lot of these shots are from American Bowman. Yeah, pull up American Bowman's website real quick too, Jeremy.
Have you ever heard of TAC, the Total Archery
Yeah.
Challenge? Yeah. So they're like kind of similar, but they're not necessarily competitions. They're
Yeah.
just like shooting.
Yeah, I prefer these private courses. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
against that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been invited to a couple, but I don't know, man. It's just anytime you get so many people involved in something and you're so used to like going to American Bowman, like there's nobody there. And like,
Oh,
but
cool.
yeah, this place is awesome. And you can shoot out to 100 yards there. Some of the targets, like what's the furthest shot at Game Lines?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they have some elk and stuff. I think there's a moose shot that's like 70 yards and
Oh, cool.
it's fun. And then
On the scenery,
bring extra
that's
arrows
beautiful.
because
I know.
like,
I do need to go get some more.
yeah,
That's super
that's
cool.
badass shot though with Cam and
Yeah.
having it on video. Like that's what I went and watched. I haven't had
Yeah.
a chance to take in the podcast yet, but
Yeah.
I need to go and
the
listen
podcast
to it.
is just me talking. I don't
I
find
love the
anything.
lift, run, shoot concept though.
The
Like,
lift, run, shoot was really fun.
That's awesome. How is okay? Cameras off, microphones off. Was he a good guy? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So like it's hard. It's when you see people on social media like that are popular, famous, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are they going to be like when you're in person? It's always like a little nerve wracking. And I got there, and he was just so cool. His family was cool, so it was really awesome.
That's great. And then what kind of because your Instagram following, you're fucking crushing it. Like
It's growing.
Yeah.
I think I started it in 2021 January, like by myself, and just posted whatever I wanted to. And then I've been pretty blessed to have like some sponsors come along and help it grow a little bit more. But yeah, that's been fun.
well, I think it's a testament to just being positive and having fun, right?
Yeah.
Because if you start putting all that negative shit on there or whatever, it's like, I don't know. I love to see people like you crushing it. That's why I wanted to have you in. And I think we get so caught up in just, I guess a lot of people are fake on social media, right? So like they'll post photos of them at the gym, but how many reps are they really doing?
Right,
Or like,
right.
And I've kind of tried to stay away from that. Like I just do podcast stuff because this is
Yeah.
my main focus.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
So, I don't know.
there's something to be said. Like I've always tried to keep everything I do, social media, races, competitions, very genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, yeah, that does exist. There's the fitness influencers out there who go to the gym and, who knows what they do, but they post as if they did something.
There's so many now,
I
and they're-
have to remember to like film stuff. Cause I'm like, oh shoot, like I need this for this sponsor. Like I need to do this. So it's definitely always like a second thought in my brain, instead of just like living life. But I think that's kind of like growing up without it. Which
how old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay. And you grew up without it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a cell phone until I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm 44, and there was like we were talking about it the other day. There was MySpace was like
Yeah,
the
I
only
remember
thing. I don't know
MySpace.
if you remember that. You can't
was
even
like
go
middle
on there
school.
because they were trying to look up my MySpace on the podcast. So like I was like, please don't, dude. There's
That
probably
would
some
be
really
incredible.
incriminating shit on there, but you can't even go on there. And then I heard at
okay.
one point, I lived in Los Angeles for about, I think I was there like 18 years or something.
Oh, wow.
And it was cool. I got to know some of the guys that were on some of the police forces there, like LAPD.
Oh, cool.
And they were telling me that there's a whole like black market on MySpace now, is what like criminals were using it. So they like, somebody bought it that it was like a criminal enterprise, and then it was like a place to get like whatever you wanted. Like if you needed a kidney or cocaine or like, there was murder like call outs and stuff. Like it was crazy stories.
When was that? Like,
not that long ago. Like,
wow. That's wild.
Yeah. So I think Mark Zuckerberg just crushed it all or something.
Yeah, there was MySpace and Vine, I think, were like the ones.
I don't know.
It's kind of like the old school TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 8 seconds.
Yeah, you had like 8 seconds for a video.
Okay. Yeah, I totally fell off all of that. I mean, I guess I had a Facebook profile, but I've never been like locked into social media. I'm so grateful for everything that I've gotten from it. Though. Like, we've gotten so many podcast guests. I've built so many badass relationships. It's helped. It's crazy now. Like now that we have editors and stuff in place, what the shorts do downloads and like, you know, we had popular. Whitney Johns on not that long ago, and you put a girl in a bikini
as like
the cover, and oh my god, yeah, it was kind of funny because we get a ton of hate, or not hate. We don't get a ton of hate, honestly, but some of the comments that we get and stuff from the podcast are like, "How come you never have any females on? You're chauvinistic, blah blah blah." And it's not that I haven't asked; it's just like, I don't know. I just always try to have interesting, badass people that are doing badass things. So I'm pumped that you're here, but it was kind of funny when all that was going on. I was like, okay, I'll have a female on, and we put Whitney on, you know, of course. And she's crazy. I mean, she's dating one of my friends, and he's a professional fighter. Okay. So she's been doing some of this like influencer boxing and stuff. But taking it fucking serious, right? It's not like the Barstool bullshit. It's like actual boxing matches and going through a full fight camp and
that's super
stuff.
cool.
So yeah, it's been pretty cool. She's been crushing it. But what is the most? So I guess you didn't really grow up with social media. But what is the most beneficial thing that it's done for you? Has it helped your career and what you're doing?
Oh, for sure. I would say like, it's helped me like get out my journey and my message and like, you know, anything I want to say or like share what I'm doing or how I'm doing something, how I'm training, kind of just helping me share that with people. And then like, you know, that does increase your following and people are interested in what you're doing. It increases your following. And then when that happens, like brands want to get involved. And so it's definitely taken something I like did as a hobby into more of a career. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
And then is a lot of your sponsorship because of that, or is it?
Half, I would say.
Because I feel like kind of the space that you're competing in, there's not like huge audience is showing up to spectate, right? Because like an ultra marathon is very hard to spectate unless you're doing it from a GPS tracker or something, right?
Well, but it's like, you know, the gear you're wearing or using when you're racing or training, like having like clips of you in that, even if it's for a 24-hour race, like you're still wearing the gear. And so like brands will want that. But I would say like it's half from like building a following and then half from like any kind of like success I've had racing. So I would say it's like 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're trying to navigate that space still. Like my biggest problem is we get a ton of companies that reach out and I don't like asking people for money either. So like that's another issue. But I don't know. I've just always tried to like partner with companies that I genuinely like. I like their products, like Salty, for example. They're not even a sponsor. They're not even affiliated. They just send me stuff, right? Because we've shouted them out a couple times. So like that sort of thing. But that goes a long ways, right? Yeah. Like I think that that's super cool. But some of your sponsorships are badass. I was checking them out today. Like I love the Assault products, like the Assault bike. I won't even get on a regular treadmill now. I'm like, get that thing the fuck out of here. The Air Runner is badass. It took a little while to get used to like run on it, but like for Stride and that sort of stuff, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I always
And
try
then
to like
Garmin, like these are all like bucket list sponsors.
they're
for
always
me.
like brands that I actually use every day, and then if they reach out and want to work with me, it's like an absolutely, So, but there's a lot of brands that reach out, and it's like, well, I don't know if I would use that product, and I'm not going to like fake it, or I'm not going to tell my audience I do when I really don't. Like, I'm not a fan of that. And so I usually just work with like brands I genuinely use every day. And I kind of started that, journey with sponsorships solo and like talking with brands and companies. And then I got an agent after 2022 World's Toughest. And so he's helped me kind of like navigate that and negotiate and things like that, because I hate asking for money. I hate asking like, what's my worth and, a dollar amount. So he kind of handles all of that, which
is it like a sports agent or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
they have
helpful.
they have like a lot of like NFL players and things like that. So like big leaguers, and I'm in the small ponds. But
No, I don't think so though. I mean, like, I think with your appeal and especially in the female space, right? Like, how many of your followers are females that are inspired by what you're doing?
I haven't looked at my analytics in a while. At one point, it was like pretty high men, and then like some female, but that's definitely grown over the years. So that's pretty cool to be able to like, especially after like Cam Hanes and things like that, is to be able to really speak to women about like strength training and being like powerful. That's the kind of the message I like to send. And when I've gone on other podcasts, it's like a main staple of things we talk about. Because I think it's not as it's gotten more popular as like, what girls want to do. They want to be strong. It's like, when I grew up, it was like, be skinny as possible. That was like beauty. And so like, I like telling girls growing up, like, to be strong, and get some muscle. So that's been fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. How are you connecting, with them now? Is it just through podcasts and social media and stuff like that? Or do you have any sort of like, I know you have your online training thing. But have you set up any like women's groups or anything like that?
I have done some kind of like rucking groups in the past, or I've been involved in some like, women's fitness events. But more so it's through my training and then social media.
Awesome. So tell me about the fitness app. Like, how long has that been in play and what does that entail?
Let's see. I think I launched nighttime training about 2 years ago. And so I do one-on-one personal training with clients all over the country. Is it for females only? Or? Nope, anybody.
Okay, go to the website, Jeremy.
So
let's check that out.
Guys and girls, and then I have a couple like just programs that are not customized to the client.
It's night training. I think you got it up there actually already. Looks like.
Yep, that one.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I have some programs. I have like...
You're so good you didn't even know it.
He was prepared.
Somebody was prepared.
So yeah, if you go to programs, I have a couple of those. So I have like a hybrid program if you want to like compete. I got a booty program.
Oh, nice.
People love that.
Yeah, no, that's the new Instagram look, right? I think Whitney had the same thing. It was like a 7-week ass builder or something. I don't know what it was.
I don't know if that was the name of the...
I mean, that's basically what it does. So
hey, I'm a fan. It's all right.
And then Body Shred is more like aesthetics and conditioning. And then, hybrid is if you want to like compete, you want to run, you want to get strong, and then personal training. So.
Oh, that's nice. So there's built set programs to where it's not just personal training. Like
so like those programs are more, so they're not customized. So like what's on the agenda, like it might not be specific to like what you want to do, but it's in the general area. So like if you want to go race in a Tough Mudder, like you can do the hybrid program and you're going to lift weights and you're going to run. And that's going to prepare you for a type of a race like that. And then, the personal training's like, obviously personalized to that client and what they want to do. If they're training for an ultra, if they have a 5K coming up, a Spartan race, so. Okay.
What would you suggest for a Murph then?
For Murph?
Yeah.
Personal training.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, Murph is very specific. And so like you're going to need to be doing a lot of push-ups, a lot of squats, a lot of pull-ups and running and working with weight. Are you doing Murph?
It's been one of my fitness goals, right? So like I've been on a bit of a fitness journey and unfortunately right now I have a shoulder injury that I need to go
Okay.
have an MRI or something to actually figure out what's going on with it. But yeah, it was my goal to, and I think that this is pretty soft in your world. I'm embarrassed to even tell you about it now.
No.
But I would like to do a Murph unassisted with the vest in under an hour.
Yeah, that's a great goal.
Yeah.
That's a goal a lot of people have. A lot of people want to do it without the weight even. So like that's a good starting point, and to do it like partition, so like break it up. And then eventually you work your way up to doing it just all the way through with a weight
Yeah,
vest
that's
on.
my goal is
Yeah,
to do it all the way
that's
through
great.
with a vest.
That's hard.
So I've been
It's
doing
hard.
partitions. It's like everything else has excelled. Well, since the shoulder injury, I should not go to jiu-jitsu. That's the problem. That's my favorite way to get in cardio, though, is like to be
it's hard.
strangled or trying to avoid being strangled, I guess I should say. But yeah, I don't know. So now like the push-ups are suffering, the pull-ups are suffering. Like you need a good shoulder.
You do need a good shoulder.
Yeah. So I
that's
don't
hard. You
know.
could do air
I fuck-
squats, but that's
Yeah.
and run.
Well, and I try. So I try to, yeah. Anyways, we'll get into that off mic because I think I've talked about that ad nauseum. I mean, who knows? It could be 5 years from now after I have shoulder surgery or whatever. But yeah, I'd love
that's
to
a
talk
great
to you
goal.
about it because I think that that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people just go in and try to do stuff on their own. And it's like myself included, like, you know, it's very humbling to walk into a gym and get your ass kicked for the first time on a mat or with a personal trainer or something like that. So this online approach is kind of cool because you probably don't have a lot of that anxiety built up or inferior feelings that you would have, right?
Right. And then, I mean, like with like calls and check-ins and stuff, like most of my clients are self-conscious, like, oh, this is embarrassing. This is my score. Like when I make them do like a test week before we start to see where, you know, their baseline of where they're at. And they're like, this is so embarrassing. I don't even want to tell you. I'm like, why? Like you have to start somewhere. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Right. And there's ups and downs too.
yeah.
You're not going to feel good every day, right? Like,
Right. And the most important part is that you're starting. So you're starting your journey. And then you can look back and be like, oh, wow, that's what I got when I first started. And now look where I'm at. So like, that's always really cool to see. Then that's why I like working with clients a lot.
Yeah. No, that's, what is kind of, I guess, just to break it down a little bit, like if somebody wanted to get personal training, do they just contact you through the website and then it's...
Yep. So if you click join the team, you fill out like a form and it kind of tells me your background, your goals and things like that. And then like I'll respond to them via email and then we'll get started. Well,
Nice.
yeah,
All
it's
right.
fun.
I'll hit you up on
Yeah,
there.
deal. Yeah, this year I've done Murph about like every year.
Okay.
This year,
I mean, that's a big
there's
CrossFit workout.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's 2 girls from my CrossFit gym who want to do. It's like a team Murph, and it's triple all the reps. So 300 pull-ups, 600
Holy
push-ups,
shit.
900 air squats with a vest.
Now I'm really feeling inferior.
Two people work at one time, I think, and one rests. So technically, you're still doing like just the regular Murph, but you're with the team.
I'm sorry. I thought it was like...
No, not individually.
Okay.
I was like, at first when they told me that, I was like, yeah, no, there's no way. Like, and in an hour, no.
Right.
But so like that will be a fun
Well,
new
the
take
thing
on
too
it.
is like one of the things that I want to do is I want to do straight pull-ups. I don't want to do these like
The
the
CrossFit
super,
pull-ups.
yeah. I don't know. Like I'm not trying to crush it in 30 minutes or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, if you don't want speed, like strict pull-ups
Yeah.
are great.
And I think the main reason why I was going after that is because it pertains the most to, well, number one, I still travel quite a bit and there's no excuses. Like I don't need a gym. I don't need a dumbbell. I don't need a fucking anything, right? Like
That's a good
literally
point.
my backpack
Yeah.
probably weighs 25 pounds,
Yeah.
right? The laptop and the iPad and, you know, whatever else I have in there, my water bottle. So there is really no excuses to doing that workout. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anytime. I mean, you can do push-ups
Right.
fucking anywhere.
Yep.
I do them in the airport. And people are like looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing? You
You're one of the airport
I've had a
exercisers.
few fucking cool guys like come over and like do them with me, you know, like
That's
fuck it,
awesome.
like I'm going to get it in too, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's, I think for bow hunting, like strength and endurance and cardio is like, those are the biggest things you need, especially for backcountry elk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if you just get used to walking around with weight on your back, that's going to help you in the woods.
Yeah,
Extremely,
for sure.
yeah.
And especially with like, even to take it a step further, like what I like to start doing around this time of year is the actual pack that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll carry, like, I don't want to be walking around Evergreen with my bow, you know,
Yeah.
but occasionally like, grab a sledgehammer and just carry that around the trail or something, you know, like it simulates a rifle or a bow
Yeah.
or something. It's a little
That's
bit
true.
heavier.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a
Extra
good
shit
idea.
to carry. We have some of those on it maces.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a.
Have you ever heard of Mountain Tough?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have a lot of good training for hunters. That's
Okay.
basically what they do, is training for, hunting, any kind of like rucking, any, competition where you're moving weight. So they're pretty
Yeah, I want to go down and work with Zach Patron. We just had him on at
Okay.
Rocky Mountain Strength. Have you heard of those guys?
I think so.
It's a pretty
Rocky
cool
Mountain Strength,
gym.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually a really cool gym. Like Derek Wolf is working out there now,
okay.
and you can bring your bow to the gym.
Oh, cool.
During their backcountry,
Okay.
like if you're
During those hours.
yeah, and it's not like you're going to the archery range, but during those hours, so you're doing whatever workout for backcountry hunting,
Oh, that's super cool.
and then you're shooting your bow in between reps or
That's
whatever,
awesome.
right? Like a shot every 20 minutes or something. And then he does it's out in Centennial, so there's an archery course somewhere in Highlands Ranch that's private.
Okay.
And I think that they do a workout there
Oh, cool.
too, like a class there that's all based
That's
around
awesome.
3D targets and fitness. So
That's cool.
yeah, I'd like to get down there and work out with them.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Well, so you have, I'm sorry, what did you say that you had coming up? Because I think we didn't actually even get that out, right? Because we started talking about the Middle East.
Right.
And, yeah.
Crazy. So many
We went
things.
down.
Man, I should have pulled up my race schedule before this.
That's all right.
I think the next thing I have is a team CrossFit comp. And then from there, I go into. Have you heard of Broken Arrow Sky Race? So
No.
those are some ultras in Tahoe. So I'll do that, and then I have tactical games, and then I'll go do TAC, which isn't a competition.
Are
but
the
it's still
tactical games here?
they're all over the country.
Okay.
And what's crazy is that like last year you were able to sign up like, I don't know, a month out and it'd still be like open. They're selling out like months and months in advance. So like
Really?
it's growing in popularity. Like people are signing up, which is really cool to see. So there's one next week and in Idaho. Which is a possibility, and then Iowa is in July, so that'll be a big one. I'll go back home for that.
And then do you qualify for like a national?
Yeah, so nationals is in the fall.
What's the competition like out there? Is there a lot of like former military guys and
I mean, it's kind
women?
of a mix of everything. You definitely have some special forces people. You have a lot of, Jake Hepner's like the reigning champ, and
Yeah.
he's an ex-CrossFitter, and so it's a wide mix of everybody. And then you have people who just like really enjoy doing fitness and shooting, and they're there too. So it's a really cool community. Everybody's there, like basically in between events at different, in between like all the bays. There's like people like by their cars, and like it's kind of like a big tailgate, right? And then
Okay.
you go do your event, and like everybody's willing to help you if you need extra ammo, things like that. So it's one of my favorite, I think, athletic communities.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something that's intriguing to me because I can never just go work out. It has to involve like some sort of like something
else.
reward at the end, you know, like a lake or a nice view. Or
Yeah.
that's why like I refuse to run on asphalt or concrete anymore.
Same.
I'm just like, fuck it, dude. Like unless there's dirt underneath my feet, I'm not running. So
We live in Colorado too,
Yeah.
so there's so many like
there's so many trails.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I've actually never ran a road marathon, and I never will. I've ran like a trail marathon and then beyond, but yeah, I don't think I have any desire to run on the road.
It's murder.
Yeah.
I hate it when I go to a city like Vegas or something. It's like you can either go run in the desert or like there's no like bike. Everything's concrete, right?
Yep.
Because if water hits it, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
there's only a few places I would live in the U.S. and they all have to have some kind of mountain and trails.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not interested.
is how do you find? And I know that this is a stupid question because there's so many professional athletes that train here.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that is an advantage when you're going into? I know scientifically it is like into what you're doing, like this high endurance,
Yeah.
long miles, that sort of thing. Do you have an edge on anybody like that's competing from Iowa or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like when you train at altitude, it definitely helps. Like especially a lot of like these events I go to are at sea level, and so like for so many days me being there, like it does feel really good to breathe. And then I think scientifically after so many days, I don't think you have that much of an advantage. But I mean, I always think it does help to train at altitude compared to people who can't.
No, I agree because. If I leave and go to like LA for 2 weeks or something, coming back is always like, fuck, man, I gotta get, not,
it's brutal to come back.
I only notice it when I'm doing cardio.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like when I go there, like the first week, dude, I'm like, I've shaved a minute off my mile, like it does. I feel the difference, and I'm a fat guy, so.
Well, I came back from the race in Saudi Arabia, and then it was the CrossFit Open that like next weekend. I think I go back like Wednesday, and then did the workout on Friday, and I was like,
really?
I died. I was like, oh my gosh, why do I feel so awful? Like, first of all, recovery and travel, and then I was like, oh yeah, the altitude. Like, I hadn't been away from it for that long in a long time, so like coming back was rough.
What does jet lag do to you? Do you have any keys for that, or because are you flying in and getting acclimated? Like,
no, not usually.
We just had Ulysses Diaz in.
Okay,
he's a bare knuckle fighter. He holds the world record for the fastest knockout in combat sports, like absolute savage. But he lives in Miami, so he's been here the last 3 weeks.
Okay,
like getting acclimated.
Well, that makes sense if you're coming to somewhere in altitude that like. To compete, like coming early
do it
is
the
smart.
Opposite way, right? Like if you were going to sea level, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, like usually when I go to competitions, it's like the day or 2 days before, and then just kind of like jumping into it. So, which helps if I'm, from Colorado and going to sea level, you don't really have to acclimate that much. Yeah, but
yeah, awesome. Well, we are coming up on time. I want to be respectful of your time. So thank you so much for making the trip all the way from Boulder in rush hour. This was super awesome. I'd love to have you back anytime. You're welcome anytime.
Cool.
And I'm sorry it took us so long to get you in here.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is fun. The studio's cool. And then, I mean, we'll have to do the deal. We'll switch for the archery
deal.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's my thing. That's where I'll excel. I won't keep up with you in between the targets, but
that's okay as long as you can shoot well.
Yeah, I can shoot well.
Meet her there.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah, let me know when you have time, and we'll definitely tee that up.
Sounds good.
Real quick, if you got 2 more minutes, let's drop your Instagram, your website. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't yet. I'm thinking about doing
do it.
Just like cameo to like day in the lives with like me and my dog. Have you seen my dog on my Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, Douglas.
Okay, so let's talk about Douglas for a minute.
Everybody loves Doug, like more than
he's got his own Instagram page, please.
He doesn't. No, because when I first got him, I was like, I can't be one of those dog moms. He's in all my videos and like stories, and when he hasn't been in a while, people are like,
what a stud.
We're like, where's Doug? And I'm like, he can't come on all my adventures.
Right
he is.
Hell yeah.
When I trained up for the Saudi race.
You should have brought him here.
I know I should have. He would have just chilled.
That's a long car ride though, huh?
Oh, he's great in the car.
Yeah?
He's traveled all over the country. He was running like 20-mile weeks with me when I was training for that Saudi race. And I was like, I needed to get him one of those like dog Fitbit trackers.
They have those?
Yeah. It's I forget the brand, but it's really cool. I was like, I should have done that because I was like calculating. I was like, that was probably too much for him for the week because he's the golden, but he loves it. I think he loves the trails more than me. He's funny.
They're the best, man.
They are.
Just unconditional love. They're always excited to see you. Like, look at that with the bacon.
He's fine. He's meal prepping again.
Yeah.
It's his favorite thing.
Hell yeah. Of course it is.
Oh, he's great.
So that's cool though. I didn't know they made Fitbits for dogs. Wow.
Yeah. Philo? It's something.
Crazy world we're living in these days. Super cool. So, okay, so we have, it's K80_night, right?
Yep.
I think it's
Night with a K.
Okay.
Yep, that's Instagram.
And then, and then you have, it's Night Training is the website?
Nighttime Training.
Okay, I'm going to let you drop these.
No, that's fine. Yeah, nighttimetraining.com. And then you can always just DM me on Instagram too. But yeah, that's about it. And I'll get a YouTube out eventually.
All right, let's go. All right, good luck with everything you got coming up.
Thank you.
Let's go shoot.
Yep.
And thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks everybody for listening. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.